So for 2021, we want to point out the top 10 items that set our pod apart from everything else that you're going to find in the marketplace. We don't claim that we're the only brand that has one of these particular features, but we dare you to go find a brand that has all of these features listed on the same unit. It's easy to see this beautiful exterior, these nice new graphics, but it's what's behind this that counts. And what you're gonna find behind our gel coat fiberglass is an Azdel substrate. And Azdel is a non-wood composite material. What makes it unique is a handful of properties that make it a sound deadening material. It has a higher R value rating than maybe some of the other substrate materials like Luan that you're gonna see. And quite frankly, it's impermeable to water. And those three things combined are gonna help prolong the life of any unit that you purchase that has this Azdel composition. Now with that construction, talking about the Azdel construction, there are a few very important points that set it apart from, from that wood substrate. A few of those things we already mentioned. The one thing we didn't mention is the lightness of the product itself. So by installing that into the substrate of this unit, and you'll notice that from bottom to top and from front to back, every sidewall is one seamless piece, okay? It's laid out on a flat table and it's assembled in one seamless piece with Azdel on the top and the bottom and a block foam insulation layer in between. Now all that's wrapped in an aluminum frame construction. Now this is a very important point because again, this is something that you can't see inside the unit. This aluminum frame construction, it's not just a perimeter framing system, but it goes around all windows, openings, baggage doors, and what this does is it creates a structural rigidity of the RPod unit that's second to none. Not only does it allow us to have a higher rooftop capacity weight rating, but it also allows us to have a higher weight rating on our bunks. All of our bunks in the entire RPod lineup from bottom to top have an adult rated bunk in them. A lot of bunks are only rated at 100 pounds. Ours are all rated at a 300 pound capacity. This is huge. But with that Azdel construction, we are delivering some of the lightest towing weights in the class of any small towable product on the market. And when you're designing and bringing to market a product like the RPod, it's designed to be towed behind a smaller tow vehicle, a vehicle that may only tow 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, a vehicle that's slightly narrower than a full-size pickup truck, just like an RPod is. So, we understand you don't have a big giant pickup truck. We want you to be able to tow with a small or mid-size SUV, and we want you to be able to take your whole family with you. So that Azdel construction, again, check it out at an RPod dealership near you, but definitely keep that in mind when you're looking for a long-term investment in the product that you're gonna buy. There's a couple other features that I wanna point out to you, and one of these would be the standard power tongue jack on the front of the unit. Anybody who camps loves to have a power tongue jack because it saves your hand from cranking this thing up and down. But one thing that we don't include is power stabilizer jacks, okay? The RPod is built so that if you're on uneven ground or you're maybe not on a cement pad, you can still bring those jacks up and down individually. You get a nice, cordless drill gun, and you can zip each corner up and down individually. With these power stabilizer jacks, a lot of them, if one side hits a bump, if one side hits the ground, the other side, you're gonna have to put a handful of blocks under it to continue to support it. So here, again, just a nice customer-oriented feature. However, we do include that power tongue jack up front. A couple of other items that are standard now on the 2021 RPod would be the battery disconnect, okay? Now the battery disconnect is very important, and if this is your first RV, it may be something that's new to you, but I'll explain to you how it works. Basically, when your RV is sitting idle and you're not using the RV, there are some items inside the unit that we call parasitic draw. Parasitic draw means that those items, even when they're sometimes in the off position, are still gonna draw a little bit of juice. The problem with that is, you get a nice early spring weekend and you want to take your family out camping. When the unit has a dead battery, obviously this is another challenge you're going to have to overcome before you're in the campground, right? Well, the battery disconnect allows you to turn off the entire power system. It's located on the front of the coach, and you can turn off the entire power system or turn it on from just that switch. This is a fantastic design little piece, and it's standard material on every R-Pod in the 2021 season. Another thing I want to point out to you is our Tough Flex roofing system. This membrane is the same material that's used in commercial roofing systems and also pool liners, okay? So it's impermeable to water. It's meant to keep the water out. It's one seamless piece. And I did not mention yet, it features a full 20-year warranty, okay? So when you're out there looking for your new product or your new RV and you're wanting to get your family on the road, look no further than something like the R-Pod that has content on it that features a 20-year warranty. One thing that really sets R-Pod apart is the fact that although it's in a small package, it features all the content of a full-size travel trailer. Things like large appliances on the inside. And one of those items is your holding tanks. For a unit this size to feature 30 gallons of fresh water, 30 gallons of gray water, which is your shower and your kitchen sink, and 30 gallons of black water is something that's very unique. And it's something that we hang our hat on even today, along with a black tank flush system that comes standard on every 2021 R-Pod. Moving on to the next thing, I want to talk to you a little bit about our torsion axle suspension system. Looking underneath the R-Pod, you're going to see what looks like a live axle. A live axle means that if this side's turning, the other side is revolving at the same rate, okay? Inside the torsion axle suspension system, there is no live axle, okay? There's a spindle that goes inside, which connects to this wheel and tire, but they're completely independent from each other. And in a single axle suspension setup, this is very important. In a weight class where R-Pod is, under 3,500 pounds in some cases, under 4,000 pounds in almost all cases, it's really important to have the most premium suspension system on the market. If one side hits a bump, the other side is still safely connected to the road. R-Pod also features an enclosed underbelly. Not only does it keep small varmints, bugs, and the weather out, but it also kind of keeps the heat in. With an enclosed underbelly on a unit, it's as if we're both standing outside. Okay, one of us is wearing a jacket, one of us is not. Both of us are going to freeze at some point, but the one wearing the jacket's going to stay warmer a little bit longer. As a customer, if we have the ability to not be tethered to a cord that's plugged into the earth, and we can move around where we want to and still use all the systems inside the unit that we can, why wouldn't we, right? And R-Pod offers a very robust solar system. The backbone of the system is a 110 watt panel. Okay, it's a panel that goes on the roof, and the unit comes with a solar prep, a heavy-duty solar prep, which is mounted on the roof of every R-Pod that we're producing today. So the 110 watt, we call it a flex panel, fits directly onto that roof system, and then inside the unit, you're going to feature a 10 amp controller as well as a 1,000 watt inverter. Okay, now this is really important because along with some of the 12 volt components that you have inside the unit, things like a 12 volt television, all 12 volt lighting, of course, because we use all LED lighting. Almost all the systems inside there can be used by the power of the sun. There's a couple things that can't, and it's not just R-Pod, but in general, things like your air conditioning and your microwave system just draw a little bit too much power for most solar systems out there. Now, this robust system will allow you to camp for a weekend or longer, depending on the usage of the product, but you're going to be able to go untethered wherever you want and still use all the systems in the R-Pod that you need to feel comfortable. So this was a recap of some of the top features for 2021 in the R-Pod product. By no means are these all the standard features, but we wanted to highlight some of the new things that we're doing different and some of the things that you love that we're continuing with this year. Okay? If you want more information or have any questions, visit us at forestriverinc.com/rpod or check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.